Okay, the world of blockchain gaming is absolutely buzzing right now. I mean, it's evolving so fast.
It really is.
And right in the middle of all that are projects like XAI. So today, we're going to, dive deep.
Cut through the noise a bit.
Exactly. Cut through the noise, pull out the key facts, the insights about the XAI network, its token.
And help you, the listener, get a clear picture, right? Technology, ecosystem, market stuff.
And critically, this is important, clear up some pretty significant confusion around similar names out there.
Yeah, that's a crucial point we found. But XAI itself, it's fascinating. It's really trying to bridge that gap, between regular gaming and this whole decentralized digital economy thing.
It's not just about a token then.
No, not at all. It's like a whole vision for players actually owning their stuff in games, getting real value.
Okay, so let's unpack that vision. What exactly is the XAI network? Our sources say it was built specifically to be a gamer-friendly blockchain.
That's the core idea. Make it easy for games to have real digital economies, boost player ownership, that kind of thing.
And how's it built? The tech foundation seems pretty unique.
It is. It was developed by Off-Chain Labs, or the Arbitrum folks. XAI runs on Arbitrum Orbit. Think of it like layers.
Layers?
Yeah, like Ethereum is layer 1, the base security layer. Arbitrum is layer 2 on top of that for speed and lower cost.
Okay.
And then XAI adds its own layer 3, built right on Arbitrum. But this layer is totally focused on just making the gaming experience better.
A tri-layer architecture. So layer 1 for security, layer 2 for speed cost, and layer 3 specifically for gaming.
Exactly. That specific layer 3 is the key differentiator here.
So how does that dedicated layer 3 actually, improve things for a gamer or a developer compared to just using a layer 2?
Well, because it's dedicated, they can really fine-tune it for gaming's specific needs.
Right.
We're talking near-instant transactions in-game, handling maybe millions of player actions at once without lag.
Things a general layer 2 might struggle with.
Potentially, yeah, especially under heavy gaming load. XAI uses something called AnyTrust technology on its layer 3 to push speed up and costs down while still keeping it secure. It lets them tackle some real headaches in blockchain gaming.
Okay, what headaches are we talking about? What are the main challenges XAI is trying to solve here?
The sources point to a few big ones. First, just network reliability. Games need to run smoothly.
Of course.
Then transaction fees, those gas fees that can sometimes make blockchain gaming impractical.
That's definitely a barrier.
And a huge one for mainstream gamers, interacting with crypto wallets. XAI aims to let people own and trade items without needing a separate, complicated crypto app.
Oh, that's interesting. Simplifying the whole process.
Right. And also network security. They mention using something called sentry nodes to help secure things and keep the tokenomics stable.
Sentry nodes. Okay. It sounds like it's all geared towards making it easier for players to jump in.
Reducing friction, exactly. That's crucial for adoption.
And the XAI token itself is central to all this.
Absolutely. It's the native crypto, the real backbone. It has several jobs.
Like what?
Well, primarily, it's the gas token on the XAI layer 3. You need it for transactions, for network incentives.
Standard utility.
But it also does more. It's used for governance, for ecosystem incentives, keeping things stable, and it directly helps the gaming experience, letting users own and trade items.
Makes sense.
Some sources even mention AI features tied to it, like identifying potential token scams or creating unique NFTs. Plus, one note about improving decision-making in crypto trading arbitrage systems.
Wow, quite a range. And you mentioned reducing barriers. I saw something about sponsored gas fees. Users might not even need XAI sometimes.
That's right. For certain interactions, the fees can be sponsored, so users, especially traditional gamers new to crypto, don't have to worry about getting XAI first. It's a huge step.
That really lowers the entry barrier. What about people who do want to get involved, maybe support the network?
That's where ETHXAI comes in. Think of it as like a wrapped version of XAI. It's used for staking.
Staking to help secure the network.
Exactly. Node operators and stakers earn rewards in SXAI. But here's the interesting part. If you want to convert SXAI back to regular XAI, there's a 180-day waiting period for a one-to-one swap.
Ah, a lockup period.
Yeah, and if you want it faster, you pay a penalty. It really encourages people to stick around long-term, which is good for network stability.
That makes a lot of sense. Keeps people committed. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Size, ecosystem, and growth. Big projects like this need strong collaborators, right?
Oh, definitely. It's not a one-team show. Off-Chain Labs, the Arbitrum creators, are obviously key. providing the core tech and support.
Right.
Then you've got X-Populous, a game studio actually building games for XAI, like Final Form and Lamaverse.
So content creators are directly involved.
And overseeing the whole strategy, the stability, security community, that's the XAI Foundation.
Yeah.
They brought in John Shipman as CEO back in October 2024 to really drive things forward.
A dedicated foundation sounds like a solid structure. And they're forming partnerships too. I saw Superverse mentioned.
Yeah, Superverse is apparently working with XAI. Their vision seems to be creating another modern Layer 3, focused on quality games, user rewards, letting players have a say.
Interesting. And AFER, a $10 million grant program.
That's right, aimed at helping game studios build high-end games, specifically using AI on XAI's platform. It shows they're serious about attracting top developers.
And are we seeing results? What about actual activity on the network?
Well, the DapperDAR report for Q3 2024 had some pretty eye-popping numbers.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
An average of nearly 87,000 daily unique active wallets interacting with dApps. That was up 7% from Q2.
Okay, steady growth.
But get to the one part of the report mentioned the overall surge in user engagement compared to the previous quarter was, wait for it, 86,569%.
Whoa, 86,000%. That's astronomical.
It really is. It suggests incredibly rapid adoption for a newer chain. Gaming is still the main thing, about 61% of activity. NFTs around 39%, DeFi barely registering.
And in transactions.
Over 11 million processed in Q3. That's up over 17,000% from Q2.
Incredible number. So Az is definitely becoming a hub. Are there specific games drawing people in?
Yeah, the reports mentioned a few. Europe Football Fantasy League, which uses live sports data. That's pretty cool.
Integrates real-world stuff.
Right. And Crypto Unicorns, which actually moved over from Polygon to Arbitrum and Joy. They launched a new token too, CU.
A migration. Interesting.
Then there's the Lost Glitches, a cyberpunk trading card game. Plus others like Final Form, My Angry Yakuza Girlfriend, Valeria, Tarochi. A whole list. It's clearly a busy place for gamers.
Definitely sounds active. So with all this ecosystem growth and activity, how does that translate to the XAI tokens market dynamics? Let's look at the numbers. As of today, July 9th, 2025.
Okay, the price is hovering around 0.0525 USD.
Market cap.
Around $87.8 million. Trading volume in the last 24 hours was about $25.6 million.
And supply.
Circulating supply is roughly 1.67 billion XAI. Max supply is capped at 2.5 billion.
How does that compare historically? It's had some ups and downs, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, big time. The all-time high was way back in March 2024 at $1.60. So currently it's down a lot, like 96.7% from that peak.
Ouch. But it's also up from its low.
It is. The all-time low was more recent, April 9th, 2025, at just under 4 cents, 0.03867. It's recovered about 35-36% from that point. So definitely volatile.
Volatility is the name of the game sometimes. What's the current market sentiment? Technical indicators. What are they telling us today?
Well, Coin Codex suggests the sentiment is actually leaning bearish right now. They count 18 bearish signals versus only 9 bullish ones.
Okay. Despite maybe some positive ecosystem news.
Right. The overall fear and greed index for the market is at 66, which is greed. But specifically for XAI, the RSI, that's the relative strength index, is neutral, around 44.
And other indicators, moving averages.
Those are apparently showing a bearish signal too. Technical indicators, they're tools traders use.
Right, like RSI, MCB, Fibonacci levels. They analyze past price data.
Exactly. To spot patterns, momentum, potential buy or sell points. They give clues, but they're not crystal balls.
Of course. So technicals are looking a bit cautious. What about the fundamental drivers? What really moves the price of XAI or any crypto?
Fundamentally, it's supply and demand, like any asset. That gets influenced by things like protocol updates, any news about regulations.
Maybe partnerships, adoption.
Definitely. Adoption by companies, even governments. And don't forget, in markets that aren't huge yet, big holders' whales can really sway the price sometimes.
Good point. Okay, this brings us to the price predictions, and wow, the sources we looked at had different ideas.
That's putting it mildly. Yeah, the forecasts are all over the place.
It's a short term, like next few weeks.
CoinLore is pretty optimistic for the very short term, suggesting it could hit maybe 0.0574 tellers in the next 10 days.
A slight bump, but
CoinCodex sees a drop. They're forecasting it could fall over 25%, down to around 0.0396 by early August 2025.
Polar opposites almost. What about longer term, say, for the rest of 2025?
Again, totally different takes. CoinCodex predicts it'll trade in a channel maybe between 3.5 cents and 5 cents, averaging around 4 cents.
So pretty range bound according to them.
But CoinLore, They're talking about a potential bull market pushing it up to $1.41. That's like a 2,500% increase from where it is now.
Okay, that's a massive difference. What about further out, 2030?
CoinCodex sees decent growth by 2030, maybe a range between 0.11 cents and 23 cents. A potential 340% ROI. Still significant.
But CoinLore again?
Much higher. They're projecting potentially $3.30 by 2030. That's, 63 times the current price and double the old all-time high.
Incredible divergence. And even further, like 2035, 2040, 2050.
CoinCodex has a peak estimate of maybe $1.70 by 2050. CoinLore. They're way more bullish.
Yeah.
Potentially $4.62 by 2035, over $12 by 2040. They even threw out a possible $16.77 high sometime in the next decade.
It just highlights how speculative this all is. How do they even come up with these numbers? What's the method?
It's usually a mix of things. Looking at past price charts, using those technical indicators we mentioned, RSI, MACD, Fibonacci. Some use AI models now, manual analysis.
Factoring in things like Bitcoin halving cycles.
Exactly. All those inputs go into their models, but different models weigh things differently, hence the wild variations. And it's worth noting, one source flat out said based on the past year's drop, it's currently not profitable to invest.
A sobering perspective amidst the hype. Okay, now for that critical clarification we mentioned earlier, this really stood out in the research.
Yes, super important.
You might see stuff online, maybe warnings about an XAI token, often linked to Elon Musk's AI company.
Right. Let's be crystal clear.
The XAI token and XAI network we've been discussing, the layer 3 gaming one, is completely separate from anything related to Elon Musk's XAI.
Absolutely. The sources are adamant. There is no official XAI token from Musk's company.
And there are huge red flags around those XAI promotions. Things like a scammy-sounding name, bots pushing it everywhere, reports of pre-sales just stealing money.
Yeah, direct warnings like, beware of XAI coin scam. It's crucial for you, the listener, to know this distinction. Don't get caught out.
It really drives home the need for due diligence, doesn't it? Check the official project, the team, the purpose. Don't just jump on a similar name.
Precisely. Scammers love to leverage hype and confusion.
Okay. Well, last point before we wrap. One of the articles we used, it was actually published by another project called BlockDAG.
Yes, I saw that.
And they, perhaps unsurprisingly, used the article partly to talk about themselves.
It happens a lot in this space. Content marketing.
So what did BlockDAG claim? Just so listeners know if they stumble upon that source.
Well, they describe themselves as the world's most advanced layer 1 blockchain, using proof of work, claiming top speeds, security, decentralization,
Yeah.
the usual buzzwords.
Did they mention any specifics?
Yeah, they highlighted raising over $216 million in a pre-sale, having a mobile mining app with over 1 million users, partnerships with Inter Milan, a UFC fighter.
Okay, so just to be clear, BlockDAG is a completely separate project from XAI, even though they wrote about XAI in that particular piece.
Correct. Important context when evaluating information sources in crypto.
Definitely. Okay, let's try and summarize this deep dive then. We've looked at the XAI network. It's pretty innovative layer 3 approach for gaming.
Focused on real economies, player ownership, lowering barriers with things like sponsored gas.
We touched on its ecosystem, off-chain labs, X-Populous, the foundation, the partnerships driving growth.
And those striking on-chain activity numbers suggesting rapid adoption alongside the different games popping up.
We looked at the XAI token, its uses, the XAI staking mechanism.
And the market dynamics, the current price, the volatility, those wildly different price predictions from various sources.
And maybe most importantly, we highlighted that crucial difference between the legitimate XAI gaming project and those unrelated, likely scammy XAI tokens.
Essential knowledge for navigating this space safely. Understanding these details, knowing what to look for, it's vital.
It really is. So here's a final thought for you to ponder. Given these diverse predictions, the clear need for caution, how will you use things like on-chain data versus market sentiment to understand projects like XAI? And, maybe more critically, what signals will you focus on to tell the difference between a promising project and one that just isn't what it seems?